Greetings and salutations all YouTube fellows and fellowettes. Today's game will be Samurai Shodown 1 for the Neo Geo AES. I have the original cartridge, American AES release. Oh man, I've had this game for so long. It's been another game I've had for 25 years. Paid $200 for it out of the back of a magazine like you usually did back then. Let's put some quarters in and let's get going. This is actually another Neo Geo flagship title, released in 1993 by SNK and programmed by former Capcom employees. Okay, we have 12 fighters to choose from. I will pick Ukyo, just because the arcade setting is on level 4, standard. Difficulty's not that bad. But this game turned out to be pretty huge. I mean, they've just released Samurai Shodown for the PS4, and after all these years later, so to say that this game didn't change anything is a vast understatement. If you were alive in '93 or aware enough or old enough to actually go to the arcades, you would have seen this game and there would have been people playing it. Sometimes there were lines for this game because back then there were no weapons-based fighters. This was the first one. And what's interesting about, I bought this game brand new, $200. It was edited, it was censored. I was very shocked and surprised and pissed off. After you pay $200 for a game, you don't expect it to be censored. But that's what happened. And the first home adaptation of this game that wasn't censored was, I believe, the 3DO version. And that was a decent port. Obviously, it wasn't exactly the same because the Neo is pretty powerful. Even a 32-bit system couldn't really pull it off that well. But in order for, if you had the Japanese console and the Japanese game, you would get the blood. It would also be in Japanese, so you couldn't read the taunts and whatnot, like this one. So what you had to do was send your console out to have a BIOS chip installed, which gave you the option of switching from MVS Japanese, MVS AES, all these options, and you would get the blood. But I didn't do that for a while, so I was basically stuck playing an arcade game with sweat instead of blood. This game was ported to pretty much every console at the time. Genesis, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Sega CD. None of them could really do this. Genesis version was pretty fun. But this is where it all started. I mean, I think this game got Game of the Year and EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly. There are no real combos to do in this. It's all about timing your slashes and whatnot and your super moves. You really don't have I guess you could say a super move to where it would take massive amounts of life. What would happen is the power bars on the bottom of the screen, when they reach maximum capacity, your slash move, which is A and B, takes off a significant amount of damage. This whole series on the Neo is excellent. What people don't realize is there was six sequels, actually, or 5 if you count, from 2 onward. And Samurai Shodown 6, they took the blood away and the fatalities away, if I'm not mistaken, and it ended up on the Thomas Wave system, which was the next level as far as 2D Neo Geo systems, I guess you could say. It was the next step in its evolution. It was pretty much ignored, but I don't have Samurai 6 because I don't have an Atomic Wave. I just have the Samurai games on the Neo, either the carts or the ROMs. I'll be doing another video on the sequel, Samurai Shodown 2, which is probably one of the best fighting games ever made, at least on the Neo Geo. This game is still relatively cheap to acquire if you buy the Japanese version. It should be less than $100. Of course, the MVS version is going to be a lot cheaper than that, and it's definitely worth picking up. If you have a Neo Geo and you don't have Samurai Shodown, and I don't know what to tell you, go get it. I'm not really a fan of the bonus stages, but they're not as bad as some other games. I prefer the music in this one over Samurai Shodown 2. Just driving back into those bombs, and I don't have to hit him. Once again, the colors on the Neo are really something to behold. Remember, this is a 30-year-old system. fatalities in the American release. Very sad. Censorship is not something to be proud of, especially when you're paying $200 for a game. I expected it to be, arcade perfect, and it is. It's the same exact software as an arcade. They just took the blood out and the fatalities. Well, I really appreciate you watching this video. If you have the chance to watch the whole thing, be good, stay safe.